Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all good. We're back to the supermarkets in this one, and we are back yet again to the infamous Brewdog. We are back to Brewdog. Yeah, this one was picked up from Tesco's, part of a 4 for 3. And the beer we are looking at from them is their Lucky Break New England IPA. 440ml can, coming in at a big old 6.7% ABV. Like I say, part of a 4 for 3. I think this one should have been £3.50 or would be £3.50. But the other 3 beers that I got made this the free one. So the 4 beers come in, I think it was £11.75. So on its own, £3.50. Coming in just under £3, I think, if you buy it on the offer. So yeah, out of Scotland, Brewdog. Like I say, everyone's favourite brewery. There's the artwork on the can. So let's stop talking and get it into a glass. Now, I'm going to whack it in the Punk IPA glass, because why not? Because the other ones I got a little 330. So all the beer will go in there. All the beer will go in there. There's a new name for me, isn't it? Right, let's get it cracked open. Nice and chilled, been in the fridge. A New England IPA. It's a style I'm warm into. Am I expecting much from it? Personally, no. But you never know. You never know. What comes to mind now, I've asked myself this question, what do you expect from a supermarket craft beer? Quite honestly now, I think craft beer has really gone down the pan unless you go out and you go online and you spend £5-6 on a can. That is where you're going to get the quality you were getting 3 years ago from the supermarket. Now I think supermarket craft beer is very much just like every other beer. It's just they like to call it craft. Anyway, there was a bit more of a head than that. There wasn't much more of a head though. Looks like orange juice. It's hazy, as you'd expect. Orange juice in look with just a dusting of white on top. Am I getting... Is that too bright? Is that too bright? Shall I go that way? There we go. We'll go that way. Take the light out of it. Any carbonation going up? I can't see nothing. It looks like orange squash, to be honest, doesn't it? I don't think it's going to say anything on the can. Yeah, not that I can read any of it. So we'll go in with the nose on Brewdog's Lucky Break New England IPA, 6.7%. Let's see what we get with this, with the old nostrils. Okay, now that could be anything, really. That could be any sort of IPA. No real hop aroma. Tropical notes, and that is it. It tastes like a tropical diluted, just tastes like tropical squash. It really does. There is absolutely nothing there. There's nothing malty. There's no sort of hot bite to it that you might expect that you get from a decent New England. It's almost tropical juice, and that is it. So I tell you what, it's hard to. I haven't come into this video trying to slate them. I like to think I'm quite open-minded, but certainly from the nose, this don't smell too good. So let's dive in, have a taste. Brewdog's Lucky Break New England IPA, 6.7%. Cheers. It's fucking awful. That is bad. That is bad. That is so thin. 6.7%. For me, that is an IPA with tropical juice or puree put in. There's no body to that beer at all. There is nothing there in that body. A typical taste of a Brewdog beer. Right, let's start. It's almost like I'm telling you things that was what's going through my head. Go in again. Yeah. Body thin. 6.7%. This should be way heavier than that. I mean, that is just way too light. It's typical supermarket fodder, which is what I'm going to call it now, because that's how most of them are. It's just so thin. It just lacks any depth. Sorry. Body thin. Carbonation is about sort of average, really, for the sort of fizz you would get in a New England IPA. Yeah, you might get some a little bit less, but it's not over carbonated, so we can't knock it there. I think the carbonation is spot on. Yeah, it feels like a New England to a certain extent. There's like that hoppy bitterness, but the tropical note seems so thin and wishy-washy. I think this is just almost like an IPA they've brewed and added stuff to make it feel like a New England IPA. They brewed it at a big ABV, but there's nothing there. On the taste, tropical, bitter, a little bit hoppy, but it's all nowhere where it should be. There's no fullness of flavour. There's no fullness of body. There's no fullness of hoppy taste. Everything feels so watered down or wishy-washy. And the bitterness in there is, I think it's quite a harsh sort of bitterness. It sort of feels a little bit, pardon me, rough around the edges. Don't get me wrong, there's that New England feel to it in the taste. There's probably a bit more than just tropical notes I'm picking up. But it feels so empty. So empty. It's like somebody's forgot to put anything in it, really. It really does. It feels like there's no backbone to this beer. It's like hop, some juice, and some fizz. You take all that out, there is nothing to this beer. Very disappointing. It's got to be said. I mean, I think there's only one New England IPA that I've had that was worse than this, and that was the Juice Forsyth, and I had that during lockdown when it was sort of like proper craft beer, before it was all sort of like just mass produced and whacked in the supermarkets. That was fucking shocking, and for me, a lot of people liked it, and I couldn't see why they liked it. And quite frankly, this one is just another one that is brewed for the supermarkets to appeal to people that think they. I don't want to sound thingy, but not. I was going to say that think no beer, but I don't think I know beer. But I know when there's a good New England IPA and this. And for me, this isn't. This is supermarket stuff to get people into beer. For me, all that will do. That doesn't highlight how good New England IPAs can be. That highlights what shit breweries do. And the thing is, Brewdog can do good beer. They choose not to because they're out to make big profit, and they don't give two fucks about what people buy. Quite honestly, it's a shame. But hey ho, yeah, for me, a big thumbs down. That doesn't do the style justice. It really doesn't. And the more I drink these sort of beers, and the more I get beers that come out on PD that drop in ABV, the more I'm likely to say, fuck it, I'll pay £8-9 for a can of beer to get something decent. I don't need 15 beers in a day. If I can have a night in, spend 27 quid on 3 beers that's sort of like 6-7%, but a proper drinking experiences, I'd rather do that, I think. So yeah, Brewdog Lucky Break. Yeah, it might be a New England IPA, but it ain't a good one. Would I recommend it? No, don't bother. If you've had it before, let me know your thoughts on this beer. I know old Beardy Beer Reviews, he liked this, but yeah, no, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Cheers.